It's Temple Talk. On today's episode, YouTuber Nicole Raffy is here. Meet your hosts, Jackie Rappaport, Baker McNamara, Connell O'Brien, Cameron Scrivens. Also with Ashley Meir, Maggie Fitzgerald, Kat Autenreith, Sarah Kisella, Cyber Gatto, and Olivia Rakira. From Temple University, this is Temple Talk.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Season 8 premiere of Temple Talk. We can't wait to spill all of the tea we have coming this season. Today we have YouTuber Nicole Raffy joining us, and finally fall is here, so we'll be talking about a pretty cool fall experience. But first, let's get into some introductions. We have a whole new lineup of hosts this season, and to start, I'm your host, Cameron Scrivens. I'm a senior broadcast journalism major with a minor in Espanol, and I can't wait to get into the tea because I heard it's piping hot. Let's bring it to my lovely co-host, starting with Connell.
Hi everyone, my name is Connell. I am a junior and I am a media studies and production major with a minor in psychology and acting. I am so excited for this upcoming season and to be with all of my lovely friends and co-hosts.
Hi everyone, I'm Jackie. I'm a junior media studies and production major in the business track. I'm so happy to be at the table, well, the virtual table, but I'm so happy to be here.
Hi everyone, I am Baker, a junior media studies and production major with no minor, and I am so freaking excited to chit-chatty chat with all my amazing, beautiful, gorgeous co-hosts this season.
Well, there you have it. Now, a lot has happened since Temple Talk last hit your screens. I mean, the world suffered a huge pandemic, and a lot of us couldn't wait to find something to take our minds off of it. This past month, the Emmys, Hollywood's most elite television award show, took place. Stars like Zendaya and shows like Watchmen took home some pretty big wins. So how do we all feel about these wins? Who was robbed and who served the Emmys justice?
I think that it needs to be said first, and it needs to be said that Zendaya is the queen of the Emmys.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
come on.
The youngest actress to ever win the award. I mean, that's what I like to hear.
Yes, and she went against Jennifer Aniston. I mean, she just knocked it out of the park. And I think she did it for the kids, okay? She did it for us. And it set the stage. It set the tone.
Absolutely. And with Emmys being such a professional, obviously such a large television award show, with, winning an award coming off of a show that, tons of teens. I mean, I personally have not watched it, but I want to say about 80 to 90% of my friends watch Euphoria, so it's really cool to see someone, that is younger, a part of the generation, beating Jennifer Aniston, something that we can kind of relate to, a show about high school. And with it being so popular, it's really cool to see someone our age and in our generation, doing big moves like that. You know what I mean?
But you have to say that there are some shows that were robbed. Hollywood, Unorthodox, The Kaminsky Method, I loved all of them, and they didn't win, so I was sad, but Zendaya did an amazing job going from Disney child star to an amazing adult actress, and she deserves everything she got.
Everything.
Absolutely. I was really surprised that Insecure, Handmaid's Tale, all of those two, I was like, where are the awards? They were really robbed. And I'm thinking, Insecure is only on one platform, so that might have something to do with it. But, yeah, it's the Emmys, right? Everyone looks forward to the Emmys.
Absolutely. And the In Memoriam performed by her was so chilling and so good. But it was so sad because there were big stars that we lost. Regis Philbin, Naya Rivera, and obviously Chadwick Boseman. So sad. And she did an amazing job, though, remembering them.
Absolutely. Now, switching gears here, The Ellen Show kicked off season 18 with an apology regarding allegations of a toxic work environment. that arose early this summer. In DeGeneres' 4-minute monologue, she took responsibility for the allegations. Do you guys think that this apology was enough from a show as big as The Ellen Show?
I watched the video of her apology, and she acknowledged her privilege and power and that it is her show, that it is her name being represented. She said that they're starting a new chapter and how sorry she is. You know, as people in the industry, like, it's hard for us to hear that. I mean, although it can happen anywhere. But I mean, I hope deep down that she was truthful about her apology, you know, but some people are just going to say what they need to say to make millions. But that's just me.
I feel like I watched the apology, and I've always been a fan of Ellen ever since I was little, and to see her under such huge like fire, like, and there was a huge amount of controversy around her show, and then to have her come back and do this 4-minute monologue, that honestly, it felt like she was not really taking any action. Like, she's apologized, yes, and that's great, but she didn't really go into any detail about how she changed things being operated on the show, which is just like, I want to see true change. I don't want to hear the sorry. I want to hear what you're doing to implement these changes on your show, especially if you were just under such public scrutiny for an entire summer. I mean,
absolutely. And this is not the first time that she was under public scrutiny, because the magazine release, when she came out, I'm gay, you know, like, she changed that and she was under a lot of scrutiny. And I mean, she should have known kind of how to handle and create those changes like you were talking about, and say, this is what I'm doing, this is what's being done. But maybe, you know, maybe there's a lawsuit or something going on where she couldn't really get into so much detail. What do you think, Connell?
I agree with you, and I was just actually about to say that because she does have a large platform, and she probably is dealing with obviously a bunch of lawsuits, probably court, you know, all that stuff. I think she does have a lot of pressure on her. She doesn't want to say the wrong thing. One thing about, because I also did watch the video as well, one thing I thought was a little weird, I didn't know what she was trying to do, you know, when she did throw in a couple of jokes when she did do the 4-minute apology video, which I know I was debating if she was trying to put in her personality and, you know, the theme of her show and who she genuinely is as a person is very humorous, you know? So, but I do think it is something that is such an important topic that we need to be talking about right now. And this is really serious stuff, you know? People behind stage are not being treated well. So I don't know if putting humor into the apology video was appropriate for this exact moment, you know, especially when it was, hi guys, I'm here, here's a 4-minute apology, I'm putting it in the back, we're dealing with it, bye, this is the new season, you know? I don't know if putting some jokes or laughs in it was appropriate in this matter.
And I don't know if you guys remember, but when the story first broke, cancel culture was on it. Okay, they were trying to find out who they were gonna replace her with. Do you think like this is the end of the Ellen Show? Like, is season 18 gonna be the last season?
I think she's trying to save it, but is anyone going to be able to watch it and not think about what happened this summer? I mean, I don't think so. I'm not going to.
I think it's also key for her to know when to end things. You know what I mean? Like, 18 seasons is a long time. I have watched her throughout my entire life. Like, there comes a time where you do need to end things, and it's better to end things on like a more softer, easier term than kind of dragging it out like she may be trying to do right now.
Absolutely. Something makes me feel like maybe she didn't know everything that was going on all of the time, because when you think about her position, she's gotten to where she needs to be. Like, she's good enough to retire if she really wanted to. So, you know, what if things were going on and she had no idea about it behind the doors, behind closed doors? So it was really, you know, there's a lot of things that she was juggling, but I don't know. Hopefully it's not the end. I don't know. It could be.
I just think 18 seasons is a lot. Like, I remember being like, 5 years old and coming home from school and watching Ellen at like 3 p.m. Like, that was our entire life, you know, and a huge chunk of her life. But I do think you know, as years go on, as she does grow older into a person, I think she, you know, might actually want to give some other people opportunities that are trying to start their own talk show. And I think naturally, you know, big names are going to be coming out as years and years go on, and more attention being dragged to, you know, that side of the room where she is dealing with some stuff, you know, in the public eye right now that is not in her favor. So I do think Ellen might be, I hate to say it because I love her to death. I love her, but I think she might be coming to a close in the next, I'm going to give it max 3 years. But we'll see.
Now, what if it's replaced with, like, Tiffany Haddish?
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Like, let's give a new person a platform to be talking.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Little, you know what amazing topics to kick off our first season. Now let's see what our correspondent Maggie Fitzgerald has been up to as she went to Duffield's farm for the complete fall experience. Take a look.
Hey guys, it's Maggie, and I'm reporting from South Jersey here at Duffield's farm. Duffield's has been operating for over 60 years and did not cease to host fun fall activities for every family to enjoy. Let's check it out. First established in 1930, Duffield's Farm has grown into a go-to destination for all lovers of fall. Hayrides, apple and pumpkin picking, and even events like their annual food truck festivals are just a few of the exciting activities you'll be able to find here. So how do you feel about Duffield's continuing its fun fall festivities this year during the COVID-19 pandemic?
I'm really excited. I'm actually a Temple student, so as everyone knows, we're not doing much on campus this year, especially for Halloween, but it's good to be home and be able to do some things here. I've done this every year since I was a kid, so, you know, I'm really happy that they're continuing it. Just wear your mask, that's all I ask.
The Duffield family is enforcing their own COVID-19 safety protocols to provide a safe experience for their guests. We spoke more with manager of outdoor activities, Tracy Duffield, about some of their procedures. Do you mind describing some of the safety protocols Duffield's has this year because of the pandemic?
Sure. So one of the biggest things that we wanted to make sure that we paid attention to were the lines, especially in October when pumpkins are more popular. We seem to get a lot of really long lines at the ticket booth and waiting in line for the hayride. So we decided this year that pretty much what every farm's doing, we were going to sell time tickets. So you have to go online on our website, you have to purchase tickets for a certain time. Other than that, you know, we're just asking people to try to social distance. And then we're just trying to have people eat only at covered tables so that we can sanitize the tables in between when somebody eats and gets up and somebody else sits down. So that's pretty much it. We have a huge play yard that the kids can jump on hay bales, and last year it was like one big huge one, and this year they made like 4 separate ones. So if somebody comes in with their kids and they're not comfortable being with another group or another family, there might be another one open for them to play in.
Along with all the apples and pumpkins you can pick out in the fields, you don't want to miss out on going inside the market to grab a bag or two of the famous apple cider donuts. These donuts are sold all year round, but are definitely a sweet treat to enjoy during the fall season. Freshly made every day, coated with cinnamon sugar, and sold in bags of 6. Guests line up to get their hands on some of these hot and fresh donuts. All pumpkin festivities, including hayrides, will run through October until the 31st, so make sure to come check out how Duffield's Farm celebrates the fall season. From food trucks to apple picking, it looks like Duffield's had an amazing safe start to their fall season. I'm gonna grab a bite of this apple cider donut. But signing off, this is Maggie Fitzgerald for Temple Talk.
Welcome back to the Temple Talk table. Let's break down some more trending topics. Now, after 14 years and 20 seasons, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is coming to an end. It's the show that created a new era of living, and its final season will air early next year. What was going through your heads when Kim Kardashian revealed the news in her Instagram post?
Guys, I was, and still am, devastated. I hate to say it, I have seen every episode. I have seen every second of it. I watched it continuously. I love that show and I am devastated. But on the flip side, I do believe it is in their best interest. You know, Kylie becoming a billionaire, you know, literally all of them, instead of Kendall, besides Kendall, having children, you know, they're becoming adults. I think, you know, as sad as it is, I do think it is their time to conclude. And I think it is a good time for them. And I think it must have been hard for them to, you know, collectively come together as a family to end the show. I know Courtney was like,
right, exactly.
But as upsetting as it is, I'm happy for them for coming to that conclusion and chatting with each other and saying, we had an amazing 20 seasons, 14 years of this, but it's time to, you know, put it to bed and say goodnight and go.
Yeah, so many great things came from that show. And like you were saying, it was kind of time because last season with Courtney and Kim fighting and stuff like that, Courtney not wanting to film, Kendall and Kylie barely were on the show at that point because their careers were skyrocketing at that point. And I mean, Kim has, I think, the most money out of all of them at this point, so she really doesn't need the show. So it was time, but what a great show.
I have not kept up with the Kardashians maybe as much as you two have, but I did sit down and watch the last season with my mom, and just like the overall energy vibe was a little bit like, oh, they're sick of this, like they're done, like they're a little bit tired, they're a little bit old, they're a little bit over this. And I get it. I mean, you did it for 14 years. Like you ran through the circuit with this. I do think, like, as I believe with Ellen, similarly, like all good things kind of must come to an end. And this kind of opens up the new door for a new famous family TV show. I mean, I do want to say, like, the TikTok famous Charli D'Amelio, her family's supposed to be getting a TV show. So that makes me wonder, like, is this show ending for a new door to be opening for the D'Amelio family? Just some food for thought there.
I mean, let me start by saying I'm a fan, of course. But there are a lot of good things coming out of this, and I didn't know that about the Damelio family, but it'll be so good for Kim to give Kanye attention that he might need right now. And I feel sorry for them. The cameras are all they know. So it'll be good to maybe live a little bit more normally, even though it's obviously never going to be normal. But no matter what replaces the show or what they end up doing with their careers, I hope it's like positive and healthy and reflects like body image in a positive light, which like they kind of undid a little bit in those 14 years. So I hope it just repairs and maybe, you know, they work to make the world a better place, obviously.
Absolutely. And you know what? A good humble lesson was when Kim lost her earring in that water. Humbled us all, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm so sad that it's coming to a close. But switching gears here, as we all know, the rise of TikTok has changed the way we view influencers. One of the biggest TikTok influencers right now, with over 62 million TikTok followers and 30 million Instagram followers, is Addison Rae. Now, we've seen her on Ellen, and we've even seen her hanging out with Kourtney Kardashian. She is about to star in the movie remake of She's All That. How do you guys feel about TikTokers like Addison Rae and their what seems to be endless fame?
It's the way that I feel is like I can't be mad at her. Like I watched her videos and she's not doing anything new. She's not bringing much new to the table. She's just kind of like cracked the code on how to like make little children be obsessed with her. So I can't be mad at her. It's almost like, honestly, good for you. Like you're doing what no shade, but you're doing what seems like kind of the bare minimum for a huge influencer. I mean, she just is doing a voiceover in front of her camera. It's got 30 million views, 7 million likes, and she's doing nothing special. I mean, I could be doing that much better. So I almost like, this is maybe bad of me, but I have to wonder, like, when she's hanging out with Kourtney Kardashian and all these celebrities, I'm like, is this a gimmick? Like, is Kourtney hanging out with her to like widen her follower count? You know what I mean? Because Addison has a huge like follower count, and a huge amount of those followers are younger kids who maybe might not be that into Khloe Kardashian at this point. So I just have to wonder when I see these younger celebs, like rising stars, hanging out with people like Kourtney Kardashian. I'm like, how much of this is real and how much of this is for the fans?
I'm not on TikTok, first of all. I know that's like crazy.
Good for you.
Thank you. Honestly, I agree.
That's a flex.
So I didn't know who this was. Whenever I hear about someone that like blows up, I have to text my younger cousins and be like, "Who is this?" And then they fill me in. It's great. But I don't think it's that crazy that this happened because social media is discovery. You know what I mean? It is searching and finding. And how crazy is it that she was discovered and is blowing up? Any different than, someone sees someone in a restaurant and they're like, oh, I work for like an agency, we're going to sign you, whatever. So, I mean, good for her, I guess. But yeah, if she's not doing like super hard work, look at the rest of the people out there that are. Kind of feel sorry for that.
Yeah, that's where the problem lies, is like her getting millions of dollars for doing the bare minimum when you have like actual like artists on TikTok posting like genuine content that they're like actually editing and taking the time to think about and posting. It's like, oh, well, that's a little bit sad when you start thinking about it. But I mean, once again, Addison cracked the code. Like, she knows what works on TikTok compared to these other maybe rising artists who don't get as many views on TikTok.
Yeah, and I was actually just bouncing off of you, Baker. One thing I was thinking about was, so I had TikTok in the beginning of quarantine. I did make some TikTok dances, not gonna lie.
I want to see those.
No, I will never show you guys. Honestly, like deleting TikTok right after we stop this. But when I was on TikTok, obviously we were seeing, Addison Rae and like Charli doing some like dances and like millions and millions and millions of likes, and like look where they are now in these huge LA mansions with like sleek marble all glass windows, like with a beautiful view of LA. But bouncing off of what you said, Baker, there are so many amazing creators and amazing content on TikTok. It is such an awesome app to, throw your talent out there, throw your art out there, throw your voice out there, your dancing, for so many people to see and to get discovered. But I do think it's a little upsetting that since it is such a big platform and there's so much attention on TikTokers doing the bare minimum, as I hate to say, it's sad that there's, a bunch of artists that are genuine, so unique and talented that are going unnoticed. Do I think it's a bad platform? Absolutely not. Does it wrap you in for 3 hours and then 4 or 5 hours later, you're like, whoa, where did that time go from scrolling? Because, Vine, those 7-second videos compared to 1 minute, is huge.
A lot. Yeah.
I do think it's an awesome platform for people to show their talents. Some get more attention than the others, but I think it's an awesome platform for the younger generation.
Running off of that attention thing, it reminds me of when Charli Damelio, she, was doing the Renegade Challenge, and then boom, it came out. She didn't start it. Like, someone else started the whole Renegade Challenge, but she got so much money, so much fame off of just doing it, Yeah. So it's really like, where does the line like draw? Like, why are these girls getting so famous, or these people getting so famous for copying something or not having original thoughts, original sounds, original dances? It's kind of confusing to me. I don't know what the algorithm is or how exactly that worked, but it's unfortunate for the real raw talent. Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, Charli D'Amelio, she has a lot of talent. She can really dance. Addison can really dance. But I mean, a whole spin-off remake of She's All That and stuff, is that too much? Like, I don't know.
We'll find out.
Because I think that does take away from some people who are going to auditions and auditions and auditions in LA and New York and trying to make it, with a genuine acting gift, that they probably have been practicing and taking classes from like since they were 5, that people are, not getting those opportunities just because someone snagged a role that got famous off of a dancing app. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's
So
sad,
we're
but
happy for you, Addison. We are so happy for you, but I mean, we have to give some other people the spotlight sometimes.
Right.
So some great conversations that we just had there. Coming up next, we have our special guest, YouTuber Nicole Raffy, joining us. But before that, let's catch up with our correspondent, Cy Brigado, so we can get the scoop on Taylor Swift's new album.
Hey guys, it's Cy here with Temple Talk, and I'm going to be doing the vlog segment of our show today. I'm going to be talking about something that may be debatable, may be controversial, but I feel passionately about it and it's getting a lot of buzz, so I think it's worth talking about. I'm going to be doing my top 3 songs on Taylor Swift's surprise album, Folklore. You may not agree with me, but I'm going to be explaining all of the rankings, so hear me out and don't get mad at me just yet. Alright, so number 3 on my Folklore list is gonna have to be Betty. Betty depicts what Taylor calls the teenage love triangle, which consists of the songs Cardigan, August, and Betty, and involves 2 girls and a guy in a teenage love triangle, and each song is written in the point of view of each person in the love triangle. Betty is the song that is told in the point of view of the guy who cheated. And to be honest, it might be higher up on my list if it didn't give sympathy to the guy who cheated. But the song also reminds me that everyone makes mistakes, everyone has regrets, we're all flawed. I also love the song because it just immediately reminds me of OG Taylor. It gives me country pop vibes. So number 2 on my Folklore list is gonna have to be The One. I love The One for many reasons, one of them being that I think it's the perfect opener to this surprise album. It sets the tone for the album, not only because it's soothing and relaxing, but because of the message. It's a wishful, regretful, nostalgic of a past love that didn't work out Taylor. And I don't know about you, but I think it's giving me very OG Taylor Swift 15 vibes. I think it's opening the album by saying that Taylor's still here. That girl next door who's a hopeless romantic is still here. And it sets the tone for the perfect album. All right, finally, number 1 on my list is gonna have to be Mirrorball. So the first few times I listened to Mirrorball, I was like, Taylor, what the heck is a Mirrorball? What is she talking about? But then I started listening to it more and more, started to dissect the lyrics, started to figure out the message, and honestly, I think that was one of the funnest parts of listening to this album, and that's why it's so high up on my list, because it's such a unique message. Taylor likens herself to a mirror ball by saying she entertains others, she reflects the personalities of those around her, and she shatters like glass when her heart is broken. She's basically saying that we as people can cater to other people so much and not think of ourselves that we shatter and our hearts are broken after that. And I think it's really unique that she coined this term mirror ball and was able to dissect it with a whole song. Not to mention a song that's whimsical, playful, not to mention the whisper singing. It's just so mysterious and so powerful. And that's why it's number 1 on my list. Alright guys, so there you have it, my top 3 songs on Folklore. Debate it all you want, but I stand by it, and I feel strongly about it. Alright guys, this is Cy on Temple Talk signing off. Thanks for hanging out today.
So finally, the interview we've all been waiting for. Her bio reads that she is an alpha vegan, and with almost 300,000 subscribers, please welcome Nicole Rafiee. Woo!
Hi.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I have to ask you, how did you become a YouTuber? I mean, you have a lot of YouTube fame right now. You've got close to 300,000 subscribers. How did this happen?
Yeah, it's funny. I started making YouTube videos, I think when I was in like the 4th or 5th grade, which is definitely illegal. And I just kept making like Webkins related videos. I was making like little music videos, just like having fun with the camcorder that we just had at home and not having like my face in it. And then all throughout like my life, I just kept deleting like my channels and stuff because I just got really embarrassed of them. The last time I tried was like the summer before my freshman year of high school, and then the whole football team found it. And so deleted that. And then, yeah, it was really embarrassing. But then I decided when I was like a sophomore at Temple, I needed some sort of like creative outlet once again in my life because I was like a STEM major and I I'm not anymore, but I was just not getting that like creative outlet that I really, really wanted. And I was like craving, and I like picked up a camera again that I just had like laying around at home and started filming again. And it just felt like I was back at home, like where I was supposed to be. And then from then on, it's been like the first year was definitely a very like slow, steady kind of growth. But the last year, I don't know what happened. Like, I just kind of like blinked and I have no idea what has happened. Yeah.
And so can you tell me, what do you think so far has been like the hardest challenge for you as like a content creator?
Yeah, I think definitely one of the hardest parts of being a content creator is being organized and like having time for yourself. Balancing like being a full-time student and then also balancing being like a full-time creator, content creator, YouTuber. It's a lot more than what I expected. And to be honest, like I'm the only person to blame for that. I make my own schedule. I made the own decision to like upload twice a week and do what I do. So it's really just about like discipline, because like if you really, really want to be uploading X amount of times a week, you're the only person who is like in charge of that. So for me, it's balancing like a school, work, personal life. I don't even like considering YouTube work because it's a hobby for me, but it's really difficult to just kind of balance it. And even like 2 years in, I still don't know how to do it.
Wow, but you're doing well. I mean,
Thank you.
you're doing really, really well on YouTube, and your fans love you. But I do have to say, you know, this is something that you love, you're so comfortable with, you don't call it a job, it's just a hobby for you. And then COVID hits. And a whole pandemic happens. How did you deal with that transition?
To be honest, I feel very lucky and like privileged that my job is all on the internet. Like I am like one of the lucky people who's able to like transition like the work life into, you know, doing it from home. I was already making videos from my bedroom, and like a lot of the content that I make isn't based off of like me going anywhere or even being with people, because like I would say like 95% of my content is just me solo. So for me, it wasn't really a big transition. If anything, it kind of gave me more time to focus on my channel, which is like such a privileged thing to be able to do during a pandemic, is to like focus on work more than anything. While, you know, there are people who are losing their jobs, but I feel like for me, the transition was it was good for like the YouTube life, definitely, because I felt like, okay, these few months I can, well, it's more than a few months, but these months I can like really hone in on my goals and what I want to do, because I won't really have any way of like having distractions, or like I don't have anything else really going on. So for me, to be honest, it kind of helped me be a bit more creative, I feel like, if anything. And I feel like very lucky to be able to do that. And I'm lucky that I was able to like move home and be able to make the content that I make not having to be affected really.
That's awesome. That's really awesome that you were able to turn something bad into a good situation. So I need to ask you about your most viewed video. I mean, it has over 2 million views. This video is titled something about like, along the lines of a guy answering questions girls are too afraid to ask. And what was that like? I mean, when you uploaded that video, were you expecting anything? And what was it like to sit there and watch the views?
Yeah, not at all. It was not like anything that I ever expected. I think that's what's funny about YouTube, is it's always the videos that you expect to not do well, or the videos that you don't really enjoy that much. Like sometimes you feel so confident in a video and you've worked so hard and edited for so long and you love it, and you're like, this video, this is the one, and then it like doesn't really do well, and it's like, okay, it is what it is, you just kind of have to keep moving on. But this was one of those videos that I put out, didn't think anything about it, and I was already like editing the next one like the next day. Like I didn't even think about it. It was really picking up. It's not something that I like really planned. I had a friend coming over that night, and I was just like, you know what, this would be fun if we filmed it. And it was just an idea that I took from TikTok, and I was like, this would just be fun if we just did this. And he said that he wanted to make a video on my channel, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then it wasn't really much thought into it, and it was like not a lot of filming, not a lot of planning or anything. And then somehow it just kind of did what it did, and it opened up like a lot of opportunities for me in terms of like me getting exposed to a lot of new people and like a lot of people subscribing to my channel in a very short amount of time. So it's crazy. It's just so weird always how it's like it's never what you expect ever. You just cannot predict when a video will like do well. It's crazy.
It just hit you by surprise at that point. Now, I do want to move in. We have a new thing going on that we like to call Ask the Audience. And we asked our audience on Temple Talk TV on our Instagram page to let us know what questions they have for you. So first, I want to start with Isabel_Rayhart. She asked, do you have any tips on how to find out if you have a toxic friend or if you are the toxic one?
Ooh, okay. This is something I like recently did a video about like toxic friendships and stuff. I had a lot of like toxic friends in my past, but I feel like mainly in high school, not as much in college, which is good. So it's been many years, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when you notice that you're less happy around that person, or you don't even like the person that you are around that person, I think that's how you know that that's not like the friend for you. But if you find yourself, like if your friend, like vice versa, if your friend is being upset around you all the time, or maybe actually like complaining to you about something, but you're in denial, like you could be the toxic friend. Yeah, I think like picking up on social cues is a big thing, because I think a lot of times the signs will be there, but it's just if you want to listen to them or not.
That is some major tea right there. I think a lot of people can take that advice and run with it. So Little Miss at Lotus_Sophia asks, do you have any tips for finding friends that just fit with your personality?
Yeah, I think like-minded environments, to be honest. Like I feel like I've definitely found friends through that. Like, I think that's an easy way to find friends. Like, for example, if I meet other YouTubers, like that's cool because we have something to relate with. But to be honest, I would probably recommend doing things that aren't necessarily like your main like focus. Like, for example, I met a lot of my most like-minded friends when I was in RA at Temple. And like that is where I met some like the closest people to me and who are the most similar to me, because there's so many different types of people there, and like none of my friends who are RAs are YouTubers. And so I feel like that's really important to have like a diverse group of friends who are not just in like your main interest. So I would say like step out of your comfort zone, because I think like me being an RA was a big like step out of my comfort zone, like looking back at things. And I think that's where I found some of like my best friends. So stepping out of the comfort zone and being open to meeting new people, I would say.
Step out of the box, y'all. You heard it first. Okay, so Regina Medeles asks, do you think that the way that Hollywood explains and shows adolescence affects the mindset or perception of this stage of our lives? If so, how?
I think so. I think there's like this whole like thing about your life being like a coming of age movie and like living as like the main character. Like that's a very like Gen Z thing to say, like I am the main character, whatever. But I feel like you have to think that this is like the peak of your life, and that, you know, you have to be following like these norms that are presented in Hollywood. I feel like I think I looked back at movies that I would obsess over when I was 13, and I was like, oh my god, that's what my life is going to be like when I'm 18 and 19, 20, 21. And then I'm like, well, that's not what my life looks like at all. And so I think these benchmarks are kind of like unrealistic sometimes, but I feel like there's definitely some good representations of, you know, adolescents out in Hollywood. Do I know any off the top of my head? Probably not. So there's probably not that many, but I feel like they're out there. But I think for the most part, I think it's kind of like a one size doesn't fit all type of thing. Because there are definitely people who do fit like the norm of what Hollywood is, you know, showing what societal standards are, norms or whatever. But yeah, not everyone is the same. So I feel like it does kind of put like unrealistic expectations for a whole ton of people.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I feel like with like the rise of like TikTok and like especially like, not to name drop, but Euphoria, like that kind of like really pushes this like weird narrative about high school that's like, I watch Euphoria, and that was definitely not really my high school experience. So.
That was exactly like the show that I had in mind, like while I was talking about that. Yeah, I find Euphoria, entertaining, but was it anything like my high school experience? Absolutely not, especially as like a junior or a sophomore or whatever they are in high school. Yeah, my experience was so far from that.
And also, nor would I want my high school experience to be like those people are being put through the ringer. Like,
yeah, I think I'm grateful for my boring high school experience in that case then.
Yeah, I like it simple. I'm not really into the Euphoria vibe. Okay, so _Andrea Maligan asked, what do you look for in a brand that has asked you to sponsor them?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is like, do I already use this product or this brand? Or would I use them, or have I always wanted to use them? That's like a main thing. Like if I wouldn't use it, then there's no way that I'll work with them. Like every single brand that I've ever worked with, I've already been a fan of their stuff. I've used their stuff, or I wanted to use it. And so I have before I actually like put them on my channel. And I think also if they align with my like moral code, like the ethics that I would like to follow, like if they're not as much of an eco-conscious brand, then I usually stay away from that. I like to make sure that I won't work with like fast fashion brands who reach out to me, which is unfortunate because who doesn't love like a whole bunch of like free clothes and stuff? But like in my mind, like morally, like I personally just can't do that or promote that. So I like to stray away. If I wouldn't be proud of, myself actually buying the items, or if I would just feel ashamed, like deep down inside of me actually promoting something and not feeling kind of dirty about me gaining something from promoting something to my audience, then I just absolutely will not work with them.
So you're real and raw, you have to have something that represents you. It makes 100% sense. So thank you so much, Nicole. Before we let you go, can we get a little sneak peek on what your next video might be?
Ooh, yes. Do I even know what my next video might be? I literally have, no joke, I like sat there yesterday and I was like writing down like all my future video plans, and I have 16 video ideas that I'm planned out, which I have never ever had that many, but I was sitting there and I was like 16, but then I was like, okay, so which one comes out next? Like I'm confused which one will come out next. I will say, depending on this email that I got about an order coming in, about like when the shipping date is coming in, potentially that, like whatever is coming in the mail, then it might be that. And then if not, then something that's highly requested. It's a room tour. It might be that.
Oh my goodness. Our EP YouTuber, Joe Andruzzi, is going to do his room tour too. So you guys are, the universe is just aligning.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It's so much fun.
Thank you. All right, guys. Now we've got a few more topics to discuss. But first, let's see what our correspondent Ashley Muir did at a local pop-up boutique. I heard it was sweet.
What is up, Temple Talkers? It's Ashley Muir, and I'm standing outside the Sweet on You pop-up boutique. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in need of some serious retail therapy. Let's go take a look. So guys, I'm standing here with the owner of Sweet on You Boutique, Tori Hagi. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, thank you.
So excited to be here. So I have to ask, what is the secret behind the name?
So Sweet on You Boutique stands for a brand that's all about empowering women to feel confident in their skin. So with that being said, sweet on you, it's like a compliment. Instead of good on you, I wanted it to be something sweet because I love desserts myself, and it's like a little play on words. And it's just a very feminine name, so I think it just stands for the brand.
Love that. So you've been open for over a year now, and for half of that time, you've been dealing with the pandemic. So I need to know, how have you been dealing with that?
So actually, the pandemic has really transformed my business. It's actually helped our sales because a lot of our customers are now trained to buy online, which we are an online-only clothing boutique. Today is an example that we do occasionally do pop-up shops and things like that, but the COVID pandemic has definitely trained our customers to buy online. And I think it's actually benefited us in the long run. And then, I mean, if you can overcome the pandemic in business, you can pretty much overcome anything because it's so unpredictable, you know?
Of course.
Yeah.
So I think that we should go through and take a look at all of your favorite things. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. So this piece right here, this is a newer item. This is actually one of my favorite pieces. First off, it's called Watermelon Sugar,
Love that.
Love Harry Styles. So that's a little Harry Styles reference. I just love this piece because the colors really represent the brand. It has the pinks that are in our logo, the navy color. It's one of my favorite pieces, and actually our amazing intern, Kira Edwards, is wearing them. They look so super cute on her. And they're honestly one of my favorite pieces. Love them.
So guys, now I am standing with the first and only social media intern of Sweet On You Boutique, Kira Edwards.
Hi!
So excited to talk to you. So I stumbled upon your Instagram page and it looks amazing. How has social media helped you guys grow as a business?
So social media is really, really important to Sweet On You because we are a small business, so we depend very heavily on like free marketing. And so the social media has been a great way to get new eyes on the brand and on the page and draw them to our website so that they can make a purchase.
Do you find that it's hard to do that, or do you think that it's a lot easier?
Some content does better than others, so we try to post a variety of content where like our customers will share pictures of themselves wearing the clothes, or we'll do like our pictures of the models, or I also create a lot of design.
So there you have it, guys. Now that you've had a behind the scenes look, be sure to check out their website, sweetonyuboutique.com. You can also follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. Signing off for Temple Talk, I'm Ashley Muir, and I'll see you guys later.
Now, for the first time, it's time to invite some of our wonderful correspondents, Sarah Casella, Olivia Ricciero, and Kat Henry to the table. Hey guys, welcome to the table. Now, getting right into some stories. After the show Cheer hit Netflix, it sparked a lot of fame for the cast. Recently, fan favorite Jerry Harris hit the news and it wasn't good. Harris was arrested and charged with production of child pornography, and it came as a shock to many viewers. And I'm curious to know, did you guys watch the show, and how did you feel when this news broke?
Yeah, so I watched the show when it came out in the spring, and I was so obsessed with it. I feel like everybody was. And I saw Jerry like on Ellen, and he was on like the Today Show. He was everywhere. And so when I read the news, it was like it was shocking, and I think more than anything, just disappointing and like sad to hear. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I did not watch the show, but I understand how you feel. It's kind of like one of those moments, like same with the person from Glee who also got charged with child pornography. It's really, and I was a big Glee fan, so it's really just weird news to hear. It's so hard to process. It's like finding out someone you really liked and, you know, really liked the content they put out, and finding out something like this. It's like, where do you go from here? Like, how do you process your feelings about them? Do you like ban the show? Do you keep watching the show? It's a really weird position to like be in.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't watch the show either, but I feel like that is true. Like with like if you watch a show and you really like everyone on the show, when something like that happens, even though you don't know them, it still is disappointing, because it's like you said, if you rewatch the show or something, it's like you know that about the people in the show now. So it's kind of like, should I still watch it now, or am I like supporting these people? Like, it's easy to feel like that, I think.
And I thought it was so crazy. Watching the show, Jerry was the one who lifted everyone up. Jerry was always the cheerful one, or they called it Matt Talk. He was the Matt Talker. So to go from happy, goody to like child pornography, it was just a complete 180, and I was just so confused. And I know a bunch of other people were just really confused too, because it was a really fun and insightful show, even if, you know, you weren't a cheerleader back in the day or whatever. Yeah, what else do you guys think?
It's scary if you have children or younger siblings or just people you know, to then put them out into the world, and there could be people like this. You know, if you want to have your kid just be a cheerleader, go dance, whatever, you have to be so cautious and safe. And obviously this isn't new, but it's scary. And hearing something about this, like, and it was on Netflix, that's horrible. It's scary.
When Cheer came out, I practically lived, breathed, and died for it. Like, I never really was too into Cheer. I genuinely didn't even know that this was such an intense community, and it floored me. Like, I loved the show, and I feel like the show is not specifically about cheering. It's more about like the people on the team and how hard they work. And Jerry had such a huge spotlight on the show, and like they really, really pushed his character development and like made you love him as a viewer because he is so lovable. He was so nice to, or he is so nice to everyone on the team. But then like to hear that news about Jerry, I mean, it really like just shocked me because it's like from Jerry, it just is, it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's just like, it leaves me speechless almost, which is very rare.
Yeah, and I imagine that's how a lot of the fans felt.
Yeah.
But, you know, on a lighter note, we couldn't let the show go by without mentioning the MTV Video Music Awards that went down just a few weeks ago. The VMAs included performances by The Weeknd, Doja Cat, BTS, and Lady Gaga, who also had 5 wins. What did you guys think about the 2020 VMAs?
My queens, Ari and Gaga, I feel like they stole the night. I mean, they just, ooh, that performance, like, first of all, they were wearing masks like the queens that they are, and they were serving us, you know, like safe realness in this coronavirus world. And, oh, I just live for them. I like how they feed off each other's energy. They really created such a great song, and that performance was so what I needed. It was full of energy and happiness and fun, and that was a highlight of the VMAs for me, at least, was that great performance.
I agree. Like, they killed it, like absolutely killed it. And you could just see that they were both genuinely having so much fun on stage. And I thought it was so funny when Ariana put up her mask over the nose and was like, it goes over the nose too. But overall, I think Gaga, you know, deserved everything she won. 5 awards. That's awesome, you know, and we haven't seen Gaga in a while since, I want to say 2013, when she dropped Art Pop, and, you know, a lot of her fans weren't really a fan of it. It didn't get, I loved it. I loved Art Pop, but I don't think it got as much as attention as it should have, you know, so her coming back and saying, hey, like, I wrote this awesome pop album that is so dear to me, I think she deserved all of it. I think it's cool also how, you know, not cool, but interesting to see the VMAs, one of the most, you know, electric, eccentric, you know, colorful, lights everywhere award show being, you know, virtual all throughout, not virtual, but, you know, all throughout New York, and completely changing the game and changing the way we are viewing award shows during this pandemic.
Do you guys think that that's something that will stick in the future? Like, they did an amazing job. Even just looking at The Weeknd's performance and how he was on top of that building, and like, it was almost like you were at the concert. Like, do you guys think that that's something that will stick in the future? If they'll do kind of like a hybrid thing where, you know, there's an audience, but also things will be virtual throughout the city. What do you guys think?
Honestly, I can see virtual performances continuing. I thought it was just like everything was so different and like so personal to the artists. Since like Doja Cat's was like insane and like so Doja Cat, and I don't know if she could have done that like, you know, with an audience, like on a stage, whatever. So I think that they'll continue doing stuff like that. Yeah.
I definitely agree. Like, especially now that we know it's possible, I think artists will really take this as an opportunity to be like, let's see how far and like how crazy I can go with my performances. Like, they'll be like, well, remember in quarantine, like we made it possible. So therefore, like, let's do it again. And now let's use it as a tool to like revamp like award show performances. So I can definitely see it like continuing in the future.
Yeah, guys, I'm still stuck on Lady Gaga. I just don't think we talked about her enough because she won 5 awards. And like, she kind of created, not the VMAs, but she created this aesthetic for the VMAs where, you know, she always wore something crazy. And like, to see her come this far, it was just amazing. Oh my God. Did you guys used to watch her when she had like the meat costume and all of that?
Right? Wow.
Oh my God. It was just amazing. I mean, she deserved all 5 awards. Her album was amazing. And like you were saying, Kat, the song with Ariana Grande, that was just stellar.
I think I like The Weeknd's cover of his song from this performance than the original. Like, I don't know if it was just the vibe because it was so amazing, but it was so good. And like you were saying about using it as a tool, I don't know. People are going to be doing performances jumping out of helicopters the next VMAs. Like, we don't know. We don't know.
And even the Keke Palmer, the host, I mean, she hosted it and she had an outfit change. She would come back for the new outfit, and I was like, how? Just how? She was gorgeous, and I mean, they gave her a whole new platform as well. I'm glad that they're, diversifying the hosts now and, seeing how things need to be a little bit different. And I think MTV does a great job as that as well. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, and special thanks to Nicole Raffy for being an awesome guest. That's it for this episode. We will see you guys next time on Temple Talk.